Hello, I'm Epic Adventure Corps, and I'm recording my review for Star Trek Into Darkness. Now, I'm not sure if there's other people out there, but I thought the title was Star Trek Into the Darkness, and then I saw it on the screen, and with big letters Star Trek Into Darkness, and I was like, oh, awkward. I was saying Star Trek Into Darkness for the last 5 months, and I just pretended like nothing happened. Now, I have to make a confession. And my confession is I'm not a huge Star Trek fan. I'm not a Trekkie. I respect it. I think it's a great series. There was a war, which there kind of is, between Star Wars and Star Trek. I'd with Star Wars. Please don't shoot me. I love Star Trek. But because I respect Star Trek as this great franchise, it so many people are enamored by it, and so many people admire it, and it really changed sci-fi. And Star Wars did take a lot of the design from it. So, because, Star Trek came first. And whenever a Star Trek movie comes out, I'm glad to watch it. It's a lot of fun, but I don't know all the facts so well. I know a little from my friends who are very big Star Trek fans. I've seen every episode, I'm sure, but I might get a few things wrong. So, this is kind of from sort of fan, but I do know some of the connections. Now, this was an incredibly interesting movie. It has a star cast with Chris Pine as Kirk and Zachary Quinto as Spock, Keith Urban, Bones, Zoe Zandana, I think that's how her name is pronounced, as Uhura, and my man crush, Benedict Cumberbatch, as um we'll get there. Now, I'm going to say that I did like this movie, yeah. Now, in the trailer, it's kind of interesting because it makes it really look like, no, screw it, Khan is going to really destroy this whole society. He's going to destroy, and, in a way he did. He destroyed it, the moral integrity of it. He destroyed it from it. But he didn't cause a lot of damage. It looks like he's going to blow up cities, as far as I can tell in the trailer. And they kind of did try to make it look bigger than what it actually was in the trailer. But yeah, I guess that's just how they sell it. And there's a lot I have to say about the Benedict Cumberbatch character Khan. And I'm going to take it in pieces. One, he looks awesome. He looks so much better in black hair all the time. In Sherlock, obviously, but in short black hair with flowing back and the cape and the robe, he looks like a total badass. And I'm just, oh my god, he's beautiful, and wish I could be him. Now, they also capture Khan's cold and of really and his feeling of how he only thinks for himself, well, and his crew. He doesn't think about the bigger picture. And well, now they don't make it look like he's causes great destruction, but what I do love is that they do make a lot of references to Star Trek Wrath of Khan. Now, I'm not sure all the references fit, but it's almost like a parallel thing, though I think, it's really in the future, but how Kirk is willing to sacrifice himself in this, and how um, Spock is willing to sacrifice himself in Wrath of Khan, and the clue is in the beginning when he's willing, and it's showing they're willing to do the same thing for each other. It's the biggest brotherly love, man crush, um, a lover's thing in all. No, I think that's one of the bigger gay male lover in definitely in sci-fi. I guess you can argue Obi-Wan and Anakin, but I think these guys are a lot bigger. And I do, just to clear it up, I do not mean actual. They're both straight, but I don't see how you can't feel. They both feel a lot of respect and friendship for each other, and they're quite different. Kirk is the representation of chaos in some ways. He's willing. He thinks with his heart, and he just feels it, and he just does things. He doesn't necessarily know what to do. He just does it. Or Spock thinks things through, and but they both do it for the same reason. They both care for the people so much, their crew, their lovers, and each other, and that's why they do what they have to do. And I thought, the whole thing with Spock, how he turns it in, I thought that was a great showing of his character. Now, how Khan takes control, kind of cool, but I thought he would be a little smarter. Maybe because it's Benedict Cumberbatch and I'm used to the Sherlock plot lines. I just thought it'd be so much cooler, and I thought, and they did do a cool job. I thought there'd be bigger twists. Like, it did have twists, but it didn't turn you. Now, people often debate if the first or the second of this series of Star Trek is better. And I mean to say that this one actually is better. And I've heard people disagree, but as a not big fan, and as just a person who likes the movie, I thought this had a better plot. I thought the villain was a lot better, obviously. I thought that it developed some of the characters better. Not all the characters, but, Spock and Kirk were brilliantly showed. And, I can't say, I wish they developed them more, because I would, but dealing with, the type of action movies we kind of have these days, I'm not with the Marvel movies. I don't really as much care about it, and I kind of have lowered my expectations. So, it's good enough for me. Let's see. One thing I think Kirk learned this time is that you never fire Scotty. You never fire Scotty. Everything breaks loose, everything destroys itself once you fire Scotty. He's like your good luck charm of the Enterprise. Speaking of the Enterprise, could that ship get any more blown up? Every time it looks like it's gonna get destroyed. And then there's like some people who die on the ship and no one really cares. It's only the main few people on the main command deck that people really care about. And I thought it was, good how they ended it. How they realized that their goal is this idealistic form of humanity. And I've heard Comic Girl 19, and she's truly right. Star Trek is kind of getting back to what humanity is good for, is that they are these, it's the showing of good humanity. We have all this diversity on the ship, all these different characters, and they're going for this idealistic journey. Now, the movies don't, and I guess their idealistic journey is starting afterwards. So I guess that means because the movies aren't idealistic, it's kind of harsh, and it doesn't have the same feeling as Star Trek. And this is mostly my guess because if it's so, go to another world, explore like they did in the beginning, and have a little adventure. That's not really what they show. It's more of this series is more how did they get there, in my opinion, and how they get to the idealistic stage. This because when Star Trek had come out in the 60s, it was amazing. You didn't need all this action. There was doors that opened by itself. That's incredible. The idea of these spaceships and like that aren't rocket ships. No one had ever thought of this. It's so creative. You didn't need all the sprawling action. It didn't have to. So now Star Trek has been adapted into this, big spectacle, action, fight, adventure, go, all shoot ships. Which actually, and this kind of makes me sad and kind of gets me. It seems more like Star Wars to me, or Star Wars ripoff. This thing in it, and I say this as trying to get you guys. Star Wars was the action one, good versus evil one, and that was what really bothered me about the first one, first Star Trek. And that was Star Wars. The second one, it didn't seem as much as a Star Wars ripoff, but it was more. It was still very action-like, which Star Wars was the one that had space battles and stuff. And don't get me wrong, there are space battles, but it's more of the fun adventures of exploring new worlds, where Star Wars had this good versus evil story. And I don't know how you're gonna fix Star Trek. I mean, maybe it's fine to do what J.J. Abrams did, and maybe that's the way you save it is by just adapting it. But I'm not sure that pays as much homage as could be done. Now, this is gonna final review. All Trekkies, you can get off now. If you're a Star Wars fan, stay on. I wanna think, is J.J. Abrams gonna be good for Star Wars Episode 7? No, honestly, that's one of the reasons I watched it. And I look and I'm kind of like thinking, I'm not sure. I have hopes, but I'm not sure. Because, yeah, there was a clever storyline, but can he do it, for Star Wars? And can he get back what Star Wars felt? Because I'm not sure he got what Star Trek was back. And I and if he's gonna just do the stupid plot line that happens afterwards, like some random thing, then that's kind of stupid because it has to be connected into the main storyline, the more main feeling of Star Wars, the main father, son, the old republic, the empire, and the new republic. It has to be tied. There has to be a Sith. And I thought that'd be very hard for a director and to make it good. So I was personally in the feeling of, why don't you go before the prequels? Why don't you go in the creation of the Sith, the original Jedi Sith Wars? Because that could be a great, idea, because it can delve into what the Sith are, or even in the Jedi, though I think it'd be better. Just kind of go into the roots of the Jedi and Sith, and that would be interesting. But we're keeping the story. I don't know what more they can do, and personally, I don't want to see destruction go my character's way. So that's my Star Trek review and my Star Wars Episode 7 preview from the Star Trek, what J.J. Abrams will do for it. And I'm not sure. I'm not sure mostly, but I can't see how they're gonna do it. But I have hopes. I'm optimistic. Now I am gonna be posting more videos. I'm gonna have an Iron Man 3 review. I'm gonna soon have Man of Steel review up. Monsters University review maybe. Just a little review of Much Ado About Nothing by Joss Whedon, directed by Joss Whedon. It was a cute movie. You guys all see it. Now, I am going to recommend an epic music. The epic music is going to be... One more sec. Black Blade by Two Steps from Hell. Now, Two Steps from Hell is my favorite, but this is a song that captures, this kind of darkness and this kind of beginning under darkness and then this fight. I think it's a beautiful theme. Sorry for my delay in thinking, but that's a great theme. Two Steps from Hell is an incredible epic music maker. They make it for countless trailers. Narnia, Twilight, a lot that I don't know, I'm pretty sure. There's a lot that they have, and we don't even realize. I just don't remember them all. But they have a lot of trailers, a lot of epic music, and I recommend them. I'm going to also have a site, the Star Trek site, and the Star Wars Episode 7 site, or whatever it is, up for the links. Thanks. Please subscribe if you want to. Don't if you didn't like this video. I know I criticized Star Trek kind of. I thought it was pretty fair. So, whatever. I don't care. I'm gonna make a living either way. So, thanks. May you have a bountiful feast. May your lands be well harvested. And thanks. Goodbye. Farewell, ladies and lords.